Imagine if AOC got to write history books and they said, why did people sneak into America? Oh, climate change.
Climate change is different because we have an expiration date.
20 years from now. Climate change was so bad that people were walking from Guatemala to get plane tickets to fly to Michigan.
We've got 12 years to turn it around. 12 years.
For real? Are you sure? Are you sure that happened? Maybe there's other variables? What do you think?
My concern is that we are going to be the frog in the pot of boiling water.
Hey guys, maybe some of the stops along the way, they only speak Chinese and they have Chinese signs. There's like a concerted effort to get people in from China. Hey, something going on? No, just climate change.
We are going to debate and debate and debate and debate. And then when we actually finally pass something, it is a wimpy carbon tax and our kids are doomed.
Oh, so simple. So nice to be able to just...
Maher and Joe Rogan just joined forces, and they didn't hold back for a second. Ocasio-Cortez got hit with a verbal smackdown so fierce it felt like a ruthless roast and a much-needed political intervention at the same time. It all kicked off when several outlets exposed AOC for allegedly making up big parts of her background. That revelation didn't escape the Maher and Rogan radar. Since then, they've been relentless, delivering sharp jabs, savage takedowns, and nonstop mockery.
Did you hear what AOC said?
He wanted to pick a fight with me, little me. He's gonna lose that.
It's amazing.
Maybe don't send our country into war because you're in some type of mood.
It is straight out of South Park.
Gosh.
It's straight out of South Park.
Congress was supposed to have a classified briefing today, and they canceled it last minute.
Like what?
Yeah, I know.
It's giving scrambling. It's giving disorganized. It's giving they are having problems behind the scenes.
Do you know something I don't know?
Please understand that this is Trump's war. This is a Republican war. Don't let them...
Like, what are you saying?
Now here's where it really gets juicy. Believe it or not, Joe Rogan used to be one of AOC's most unexpected supporters. Back in the day, he actually praised her fiery speeches and even called her brave for stepping into Congress at such a young age. He saw her as a bold new force in politics, a rare spark of authenticity in a swamp of DC phonies. But oh, how the tables have turned since then. These days, Rogan doesn't even bother pretending to take her seriously. His tone has swung from cautious admiration to outright mockery, like he's watching an amateur actor flub their lines on live TV. No more flattery, no more benefit of the doubt, just cold, hilarious disbelief every time she opens her mouth. And Maher, he's even sharper, more clinical, more surgical with his takedowns. Together, they're treating AOC less like a serious lawmaker and more like a meme that keeps reposting itself over and over again. Back when AOC first hit the national stage, Rogan was practically singing her praises. He called her a fresh voice with real promise, and millions agreed. She had that spotlight glow, young, defiant, camera-ready, with just enough rebellious spark to stand out from the sea of stiff, scripted politicians. But that image didn't last. The moment the gloss cracked and people started looking past the slogans and filters, everything shifted. Her lines felt rehearsed, her speeches like cheap audition tapes, and Rogan saw right through it. That early admiration flipped fast into relentless ridicule.
Did you see the video of when she found out she won?
It's amazing. Play it.
I'm gonna grab her. She's right here. I can't let you go.
It's like one of the realest moments. And look, people are angry. 28-year-olds, what the f does she know? What she doesn't know, she'll learn. Maybe she knows a lot. I like the fact she wasn't supposed to win. I like the fact that the guy who was an incumbent was a 10-term incumbent.
Yeah.
And that he spent 10-1 versus on her. How much money she spent? 10-1.
And grassroots got her elected, man. And that can happen.
Dude, she's a kid.
Yeah, that's...
And she's pretty. She's a pretty, young 28-year-old.
Now, instead of praising her passion, Rogan's tearing apart her logic and doing it with a grin. He doesn't see a fearless leader anymore. He sees a political influencer draped in activism, but spinning sound bites like TikToks. And Joe's been ruthless. Whether he's on his podcast or in interviews, his takedowns are sharper, funnier, and way more unforgiving than ever. He's got receipts, and he's not shy about using them. Just watch any compilation of AOC saying things so wild you'd think it was satire. Like her infamous claim that we could stop climate change in exactly 12 years, as if global warming runs on a timer Congress can vote away. Never mind the endless global variables no one can control. Nope, slap a deadline on it and call it a day. Then there's her theory that mass migration is mostly driven by climate change, not poverty, not war, not collapsing governments, just the weather. Back in 2018, people gave her a pass. She was new, wide-eyed, trying to find her voice. But 5 years in, she's still talking like this. At this point, it's not inexperience, it's stubborn ignorance. And people are done pretending it's profound.
Imagine if AOC got to write history books and they said, why did people sneak into America? Oh, climate change.
Climate change is different because we have an expiration date.
20 years from now. Climate change was so bad that people were walking from Guatemala to get plane tickets to fly to Michigan.
We've got 12 years to turn it around. 12 years.
For real? Are you sure? Are you sure that happened? Maybe there's other variables? What do you think?
My concern is that we are going to be the frog in the pot of boiling water.
Hey guys, maybe some of the stops along the way, they only speak Chinese and they have Chinese signs. There's like a concerted effort to get people in from China. Hey, something going on? No, just climate change.
We are going to debate and debate and debate and debate. And then when we actually finally pass something, it is a wimpy carbon tax and our kids are doomed.
Oh, so simple. So nice to be able to just...
At this point, it's not idealism. It's straight up ignorance. There's no excuse for someone who's been in Congress for 5 years to still toss out shallow takes on complex global issues like it's open mic night. It shows a wild refusal to evolve, dig deeper, or even ask the simplest question. Does this actually make sense? But instead of slowing down to reflect, AOC just ramps up the drama. She leans harder into emotion, hoping tears and theatrics will cover cracks in her logic. But it doesn't work anymore. If you sat through the full interview, and I did, you'd catch the moment when AOC proudly declared herself an expert on the topic at hand. She said it with complete confidence. But the second the real, pressure-filled questions came flying, she folded faster than a cheap beach chair. That's the AOC pattern, loud and bold when ranting about Trump. But when it's time to talk real policy, it's crickets, stammers, and deflection. She thrives in echo chambers where everyone's already clapping. Take her out of that comfort zone, and she starts to spiral. The bold claims vanish. The expertise dissolves into vague generalities and awkward pivots. It's a rinse and repeat routine, high energy, low depth.
One of my favorite interviews was when AOC was talking to that lady and she asked her to expand.
About Israel-Palestine?
Oh my God.
You used the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
She just collapsed into herself?
It's literally like a fifth grader that didn't study.
Yes.
And then they ask you about the subject, or you didn't read the book. And then, it's about Billy and his dog, and they have a really good relationship, these dogs.
But the crazy thing...
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just... I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue.
What you're looking at is performance politics in its purest form. Big hand gestures, dramatic tones, emotional appeals, all smoke and no fire. And when the media refuses to press her with tough questions, that performance slides by unchecked. So, what are we left with? A politician who sounds impressive in short, viral clips, but melts the second real pressure shows up. That's exactly why Bill Maher jumped into the conversation. He's been watching, too, and he's not impressed. He joked that Democrats these days would probably defend literal Martians if they showed up causing chaos, as long as it fit the compassion narrative. And honestly, that wild exaggeration doesn't even feel like much a stretch anymore. The border's wide open. The consequences are hitting real communities hard. Yet folks like AOC still act like it's somehow offensive to even talk about it. Fentanyl's tearing through our streets. Prostitution rings are spreading like wildfire. Drug and human trafficking are exploding. Communities are hurting. Families are breaking apart. Cops are drowning under the weight of it all. And who's standing at the front lines defending the chaos? The Democrats. And right in the spotlight, as always, is AOC, spinning fairy tales while regular Americans are left to deal with the fallout. So yeah, Maher wasn't lying when he said it feels like Democrats would defend aliens if they landed in LA and started tearing the place up. They'd be on CNN calmly explaining why Martians deserve shelter and voting rights. This isn't about solving problems anymore. It's pure political theater. In that theater, reality gets booed off the stage while ideology hogs the mic common sense, tossed out like yesterday's script. Need proof? Just look at this next clip.
Giant robotic tripods could be vaporizing New Jersey. Democrats would point out how the death lasers were disproportionately affecting low-income communities and people of color, and AOC would tweet, "Stop demonizing the Martian X community."
AOC once again got completely lost trying to criticize a major bill and ended up getting schooled by Mike Lawler live on TV. It wasn't even a debate, it was a one-sided lesson. She clearly hadn't read it, hadn't researched it, and had no clue what she was talking about. And that's a pattern every time. She charges into every issue half-prepped, full of emotion, but light on facts. Take that big, sweeping bill. It was designed to help middle-class families with significant tax cuts and a major relief plan aimed at easing the financial chokehold so many people feel right now. But instead of understanding what it did, she trashed it blindly. Why? Because it didn't fit her pre-written narrative. And that right there's the core problem. The performance matters more than the policy. Instead of showing up with facts, AOC came armed with wild claims, insisting the government was targeting people making under $25,000 while handing massive breaks to the rich. It wasn't just inaccurate, it was straight-up political fanfiction. And it didn't stop there. She keeps leaning on that same tired Bronx girl storyline like it's her whole brand. But public records, yearbooks, school enrollment history, they all show she spent most of her childhood in Yorktown Heights, one of the wealthiest, safest suburbs in Westchester. That gritty narrative, it's more curated than her Instagram grid.
Well, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez caught that interview, or at least saw it online, and she wrote, "It's not normal. Lawler voted to make the tax breaks on billionaires permanent while making the no tax on tips, just for those making less than $25K, expire in just 3 years. He's also kicking tipped employees off Medicaid, ACA, that's Obamacare, and clawing back their SNAP." So is she wrong about this bill?
Yes, she's entirely wrong. Look, the standard deduction, for instance, which was doubled under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, is made permanent. This is a huge tax cut for middle class and lower income families all across this country. Obviously, within this bill, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no a senior deduction, a child tax credit expansion. This is targeted towards the middle class and working class and lower income Americans all across this country.
And let's not forget that viral moment when she claimed she had to cash her grandma's Social Security checks just to get by. Turns out that was complete satire, made up, exaggerated, and totally baseless. 5 years in office, and she's still chasing headlines over honesty. This isn't rookie behavior. It's willful misdirection. At this point, it's not about being uninformed. It's a choice to ignore the truth, dodge accountability, and keep the spotlight with flashy lines instead of real substance. Some people say, but she draws a crowd. Yeah, well, so does a car crash. That doesn't make it leadership. And Bill Maher had something to say about that too. He pointed out how Democrats keep falling for the same trap. Just look at Kamala Harris. Huge crowds, viral clips, celebrity endorsements, endless TikToks, and a campaign war chest stacked with over $1.5 billion. And what happened? An outright disaster at the polls, because none of that fluff could hide the real issue. Kamala didn't lead, she posed. She had no clear plan, no sharp vision, and no real grip on what voters were actually going through. Just another PR product package for identity points and media clicks. If AOC keeps following that same empty playbook, Democrats better buckle up, because flash fades fast and voters are tired of getting sold style with zero substance. And here's the wildest part.
It's not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
Instead of learning from their flops, Democrats just keep doubling down. No self-reflection, no strategy shift, just more empty slogans and PR stunts. The DNC acts like nothing happened, like voters didn't just reject their whole message. They're still glued to optics and narratives instead of actual results. If they don't snap out of it, 2028 is going to be a rerun, and not the kind anyone wants to watch. Now, this next clip is almost too hilarious to believe. AOC, in full performative mode, tried to hit Tony Bobulinski with a classic gotcha question. She stared him down and asked if he had personally witnessed Joe Biden commit a crime. No hesitation, no fluff, Bobulinski shot back with a straight-up yes. But AOC didn't stop there. She tried to corner him, demanding he spell out exactly what crime. So he did. He named corruption and RICO violations. And that's when things got awkward, because AOC looked completely blindsided, like she didn't even know racketeering was a real federal offense. Seriously, this was live. She tried to discredit him to make him look weak, but the whole thing backfired spectacularly. Bobulinski stood his ground, calm, direct, unshaken. Meanwhile, AOC fumbled the moment, exposing that she either didn't understand the laws or wasn't ready to face someone who actually did. And that's the issue right there. It's not just about having a camera presence. It's about having the facts to back it up.
Holy sh**. He said what?
Did you witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me,
statutes.
sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
It's the category of crimes that you're then charged
You
under.
have charges.
A long 100
You
list
have
of
charges.
Please want me to name
name
the exact statute
sir,
under RICO?
Yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, there's over 18
All right, sir. I reclaim my
lawyers
time.
that
I
went to
reclaim
law
my
school.
time. I
I'll leave
reclaim
it
my
up to
time.
you guys
Okay,
to
thank
define
you,
the
sir. I
statute.
reclaim my time.
AOC went in trying to crush a witness, but ended up putting her own lack of knowledge on full display. Not exactly the sharp intellect her fans keep hyping up, huh? And now, let's talk about AOC's latest solution to the border crisis, one that had even her own party looking confused. In a recent town hall, she floated the idea that what we really need is more community centers for undocumented migrants. Not tighter security, not better vetting, not even basic enforcement of existing laws. Just more cozy hangout spots. You could see jaws drop in real time. People were expecting policy, and instead got a campaign pitch for a social club. And this is what happens when style overtakes substance. AOC isn't speaking from strategy. She's performing for cameras. Everything's about emotion, about how it makes people feel. But while she's making people feel good with buzzwords, communities across the country are feeling the weight of real consequences. Overcrowded shelters, collapsing city budgets, rising crime, and total chaos at the border. But here's the kicker. Instead of addressing those issues head-on, AOC spun it into a guilt trip. She blamed America for failing to create safe pathways and said, we need to show radical empathy. Sounds nice in theory, but what about the working-class neighborhoods being overrun, hospitals overwhelmed, and small towns forced to absorb the impact with zero help? Once again, no answers, just vibes. Just another viral moment for the fan base to clip and share on TikTok. Even moderate Democrats are starting to cringe. You can see it, the hesitation, the silence, the lack of applause when she goes off script. Behind the scenes, folks are whispering what they won't say publicly.
The recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in a car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
AOC's act is wearing thin, and the longer she stays in the spotlight without delivering real results, the more obvious it becomes. It's not leadership, it's theater, and people are getting tired of paying for front row seats. Let's be real. AOC doesn't look anywhere close to presidential material. She's too wrapped up in wokeness for the average American voter, too surface level to grasp global complexity, and way too loud for a role that demands calm, calculated leadership. This isn't a stage for sound bites. It's a battlefield for diplomacy, intellect, and real-world problem solving. And that's exactly where she keeps falling short. Her obsession with attention, the constant chase for viral moments, might rack up views online, but collapses under the weight of actual responsibility. You can't TikTok your way through foreign policy or meme your way out of inflation. Now, to be fair, she's still young. With the right mindset, some humility, and real effort to learn, there's a chance she could grow into something more than just a walking headline. But that would require her to pause performance and embrace the grind. Less clout, more competence. Because let's not sugarcoat it. Right now, she has no business even whispering about the White House. None. What she needs is distance from the spotlight, time to actually study the issues, and a real mentor who isn't her Twitter feed. Until then, she's just making noise, and not the kind that moves a nation. At the moment, AOC is more style than strategy, more flash than function. Presidential? Not even close. She's not disqualified because she's young. She's disqualified because she refuses to evolve. Leadership isn't about hype, it's about results. And unless she flips that switch soon, the only office she'll hold is the one she already has. Barely. Anyway, that wraps up today's breakdown. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more sharp takes just like this, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.